found out, who the person is. So when we came back, we rang and said, what happened? So they had found actually the plastic inside the stomach of the deer. And we really felt really bad because, it's actually you are not allowed to take plastic inside the wildlife sanctuary. But, people just like you and me go for a safaris, we take, waste, we eat something, and, we don't want to bring anything in a jeep. So people just throw it away, on the roadside or anywhere. And same thing has happened. And especially during the summer, the animals like salt. So, they try to, lick the salt from inside the this kind of bags, and it usually goes in their stomach, and it stays there. So their stomach is something that big. So just imagine, lot of plastic bags are gone in, and the deer had died because of no food. There is no space in the stomach. So when we came back, it was like, every time we used to show the pictures, it was always like, how come people do like this? Why can't somebody, start working on it? Why can't people do this? I think all of us go through that. And then one day we took a step back and said, we are exactly like everyone. We are not doing anything. We are just saying somebody else should do it. And that's when we started, learning about what plastic was, how long it takes for the plastic to disintegrate. And it was like, plastic is fossil fuel. It comes from that. It takes minimum 500 to 1,000 years for it to be disintegrate, because, we just, nobody has seen it. And that's how we started, looking at what can be done with plastic. And the idea was actually very simple. We saw a piece of ice melt, and it was like, our aha moment, and then it was simple, that water turns to ice turns to water. Can we do exactly the same thing with plastic? And if you think of it took us almost 7 to 8 months, which everything started in a kitchen, and to building a first pilot plant, it took almost 7 to 8 months. But we are happy to say that we are the pioneers of this technology in India. And right now we are running 3 plants in various places, and we have sold, few plants as well.
So, ma'am, what exactly is Rudra Blue Planet Environmental Solution?
It's a waste management company, especially working in a plastic waste management. And we look at various ways plastic can be either recycled or something can be recovered. So we, as a company, have machines where we do thermocatalytic depolymerization machines, where we convert waste plastic into usable fuel, liquid fuel, as well as, we use plastic and the char in the roads. So, bitumen road. And we run our own plants. So we have 2 things. We manufacture and install the plants, PCD plants, as well as Rudra Blue Planet is into running our own plants.
Yes, ma'am, that's really great. And ma'am, well, anything we pursue has we surely have faced difficulties. So what were the difficulties while pursuing this idea, and how did you overcome them?
Where do we start? Actually, because when we started this, we had no idea. So you can say that, we started from not being successful and a lot of difficulties. As you know, I'm a, totally management marketing background, which Shirish is ICW. So he's a more of a cost accountant. So understanding and learning about it. But I think because we were not engineers, I think we were more free because we could think out of the box. But, understanding, getting the knowledge, because we were not from the, chemical or engineering field. So learning, but I don't think it was difficult. I think because of, despite of that, I think we have, managed to overcome. And secondly, I think, every startup or every business finds itself is lack of funds. When you're doing something crazy out of the box idea, nobody wants to give you any money. So it was, hard time where we used to, it was like a 20th of the month, no money in the bank, and you need to pay for this. But I think, most of us go through that, and when you are taking it, you don't think about it, and when you come out of it, you think, yeah, how did we get out of it? But if you look at anything as a situation or a challenge, you surely come out of it, and that's what we did.
So, ma'am, as you told about the deer story, dying due to the eating of plastic. So, ma'am, in recent years, we all heard about the term biodegradable plastic. So, can you elaborate on its process?
Yeah. So biodegradable plastic, the idea is the plastic, if you can, like a wet food or organic food biodegrades, it will, the same thing will happen with the plastic bags or plastic, that is. So if you put that in a soil or anything, it will, degrade naturally, just like the food does. But the problem comes is, a lot of time this kind of a things are done where the plastic bags are kept, and they require certain temperatures, certain other environmental things, and it takes a time for it to degrade. But if you have, just imagine that all of us start using biodegradable bags. Now they're going to go end up somewhere, and it's going to take lot of energy and everything. And many times, if the conditions are not right, they are just going to be just as bad as the regular plastic. So a lot of things are happening. There is a few studies done in Europe, which says that if there are no, huge number of biodegradable bags in the environment, they will be the same as plastic bag. But again, we require more research, we require more test doing. So right now, yeah, they could be a solution, but whether they are the solution, we just don't know yet.
Oh, right, ma'am. So, ma'am, it is a really a curious question to know that how can a plastic be converted into fuel?
Okay. So, our process is called as thermocatalytic depolymerization. It means we use heat and the catalyst, which is developed in-house, to break the, long chains of polymer. So in a nutshell, we actually reverse the plastic making process. From fossil fuel, you create a naphtha. From naphtha, you get plastic. You add various chemicals into it. So our process, we just reverse it back and get the liquid usable fuel. So what we do is, first we shred the plastic, because plastic is volumetric. So we need to shred the plastic. Then it is fed into the our reactor. We start to heat. Now the heating starts with our own fuel or the gas. If it's a virgin, you're starting first time. Now plastic starts to melt. Here the chemical reaction is different. We don't burn the plastic. If you burn the plastic, there are chances of you getting a lot of furances, dioxins, creating a lot of environmental hazards. But we actually melt the plastic. So when we are melting the plastic, the chemical reaction is different. Around 170, 180 degrees, plastic starts to melt. Now, when it melts, it gives away the lot of gases. Now, this is a mixture of various gases like methane, propane, butane, thane, similar to our LPG. So these are collected, clean, scrub, like a scrub by the water, and then they are stored. So once around 1 kilo of gas is stored, the machine starts to take the, run on this gas. So the whole process is, is run on our own fuel that is generated in the process, and the gas that is generated in the process. Now from around 300 degrees upwards, we start to get the liquid fuel out. So around, and by 420, 430 degrees, the whole process is finished. So we get around 4 type of different things from this process. One is a liquid fuel, one is gas, There is a char which remains after the whole process is done, and there is a little bit of moisture because of the inert moisture in the plastic waste. And so everything what we pour has a use of it. So gas, we use it for the machine. Liquid fuel is used for generators, furnace, incinerator, burners, boiler. It can be used in any industrial use, and jar is used for the making of bitumen roads, where the life of the road increases. Because of the plastic bonds, the bonds between the bitumen and the aggregate become more stronger, and you don't get potholes. Now, we have made a few roads in Pune 5-6 years ago, still no potholes. So, from our own waste, we can see something good can happen. So that's in a nutshell how you create, the fuel out of the plastic waste.
So, ma'am, as you told us that polyfuel takes many reactions to form. So, how polyfuel different from normal fuel that we use, and how it will be compatible with our automobiles?
So basically, when the first polyfuel comes out, it is a mixture of various hydrocarbons. So it is mixture of diesel, petrol, kerosene, gasoline. So it's a mixture of that. Then, if you want to go ahead and do the distillation, we can get the diesel, petrol, but every process, because, it all depends, the type of fuel that comes out or you get distilled. It all depends on what you put in. Like, with the computers as well, if you put a garbage in, you're always going to garbage out. Here, actually, when you put a garbage in, you are going to get the fuel out. But, again, the type depends on what goes inside. And because we don't segregate and we use a mixed plastic, the output is also different. And, like you said, how it is different, the calorific value is, around 10,800 to 11,700 or so. So, which is similar to diesel and little bit higher than diesel. So it can be compatible if you look at it from the diesel. If you look at the pollution, it's much, much cleaner because the sulfur in the fuel is very, very less. So there is a emission, because this is again a fossil fuel, but the emission is much, much less. Now you ask me, everybody asks, the first question is, can we use it in our cars? Now we have done some tests, and it can be used in the cars, but to get the permission and everything is very expensive, as a fuel. So we have not got into that, because we, as a company, we don't have that much money to spend on doing this kind of a thing. But we are working on other things where to see whether the fuel that we generate can be used as the source to remake the plastic. So various things happening, and it's a very exciting time for all of us, because we are doing a lot of research into this.
Yes, ma'am, that was really nice to hear about. And ma'am, everything in this world has its pros and cons. So what are some side effects of using plastic as a fuel? Or
okay, see, basically, let's not forget, this comes from a fossil fuel. The best advantage of it is we are not actually going and digging the more fossil fuel out of it. So even if the plastic can take the chunk out of using the diesel, it will still better, because we are not going to drill and get more fossil fuel. So we are going to use whatever is on the landfill. I'll give you an example. In last 6 decades, the world has used and produced more than 8 billion, I'm not talking million, 8 billion metric tons of plastic. Out of that, only 9% has been recycled. Only 12, around 12% has been incinerated, and something like a 72% is lying in our landfills or is on our oceans. So if we look at this, which is already there, and look at that waste as a, like a raw material for the fuel, that's the best advantage we have. So we are creating something and we are taking, for the burning or industrial use. So we our dependency on the fossil fuel is reducing. So I look at this as the best advantage for it. And disadvantage is simply because we are not making it enough, you know and it should be used. We need more people coming into this sector and saying, yeah, it can be used, it can be tweaked and can be used for the cars, and can be used in this, that, the other. And disadvantage is, because we are not collecting, we are not making it. And when you look at the you know the quantity, it's again very, very low. So I think I look at this in a different way of a disadvantage as well.
Ma'am, as you had covered a long way for converting the plastic to the fuel. So in your opinion, is there any chance that Indian auto companies will going to shift over the polyfuels in the futures, because there are many waste plastic left over in the world?
See, every time we think of fuel, we are thinking about the automobiles. Just think how much plastic we will require. It will be brilliant. But the amount of fuel we are using, and what can be converted, it's a long road ahead. And I think all of us are now thinking of going on electric cars, electric bikes. Going into this kind of a fuel will take some time. But again, I have a good hope, because ethanol has come in as an add-in fuel. So government is also looking at plastic fuel as an add-in fuel to see whether this can work. It's not going to completely change or replace the traditional fuel, because I don't think I'm going to have a petrol pump in a near future. But even if we can, use this in the industry, I'll take an example of any hospital or a mall. All of the small, even the towns have a mall, and they have the DG set. Now, one DG set can use around 8 to 10,000 liters per month. The same with the hospital. Even we can replace that, it's still going to save the money, because the cost of it is almost half than the price of diesel. So we can save the money. But I don't think, if you're just looking at the automobile company, it will replace in a near future. I don't think so.
Yes, ma'am. In terms of environment protection and conservation, where do you think India stands, and what steps should be implemented to make things better in general scheme of all things?
I think India stands at very, very, very top. I was speaking to somebody who had just come from US, and I was trying to understand, about their schools or the awareness. And the first thing this, I found that, they have the recycling bins, but nobody gives it a more thought, because there is no awareness. It's part of their life. And, so nobody thinks about it. Well, in India, I think we are more conscious. We have started talking about it. The government has recently banned a lot of products. And, we need to think about this. So I think, when citizens are also helping, and the COVID has helped, I think, COVID has helped in a tremendous way for the environment. I think all of us have started, thinking about environment, how our actions can have the repercussions. We all have started thinking, right? Now, guys, like, why are you, doing something like this today? 3 years, nobody was thinking about it. So as a society, I think we are getting more aware. And since Swachh Bharat happened, 2014, we again started seeing that change in people, where they want to do something about, our country, keeping it things clean. Only problem with us is our habits are really bad, and we tend to blame the plastic. Anytime I go, and the first thing I'm asked is, can we ban the plastic? Will it solve the problem? And then I have to say is, no. Banning something or saying that plastic is bad, that's wrong, because plastic is a wonderful and one of the most versatile product we have. And since plastic came in, I think we had a retail revolution. A lot of us have got jobs. A lot of you want to work in a retail, once you pass, and they pay you well. And it's happened simply because plastic came as a packaging, as different ways of doing things. So we need to be thankful for plastic. And but we only have to change our habits, because how we dispose the plastic or anywhere, we just throw it in there. That's the most easy way. So if we change our own habits, I think India will do much better. I'll give again numbers. The use of plastic per person in India around is 20 kilos, yeah, per year. While in America, per person per use is more than 125 kilos. Now look at it. But in India, we are the recyclers. So we recycle a lot of plastic. If you look at bottles, PET bottles, water bottles, more than 85% are recycled. So, and India recycles more than 36% of plastic. While in America, this is around 10 to 12%. So we are much ahead when it comes to, recycling. And I think we Indians are best jugados. I think we will do wonders.
Ma'am, as you elaborate about the human habits to reduce the fuel, so what kind of other steps we can take to reduce the use of plastics? Because it could be the upcoming problem also.
Yeah, it's like a 3 R's that reduce, refuse, recycle. These are the main 3 R's. So first thing is refuse. You go out, say, don't give me plastic, bhaiya. You go out and everybody's trying to give you thela. Just say no, take your own bags. And it's becoming more fashionable to carry your own thelas or cloth bags. So that's the simple thing we can do and see how much we can reduce. Now, we are seeing that the straws, the chammach dishes are banned, and they are being replaced by the, paper. My worry is plastic came as a replacement for paper, and we are going back. We don't have enough trees. Just think for the, just straws. Use your lips. That was the best thing. Make it a hip thing, just drinking by the cup. You don't need a straw. And, personally, I don't like those paper straws because, first the drink tastes bad and then they go soggy. So, we can just still, and, these are simple things. Third thing is you can segregate that whatever plastic waste into your home. 85% of plastic is dry, easy to segregate. Biscuit wrappers, crisp wrappers, packaging, everything is dry. Only thing is milk, or fresh food that comes in packages. You just need to wash it and make sure that they go to the your local recyclers, who will take that and be happy to recycle it into different products, upcycle it into bags, or so if we just follow these three things, and it's most easy. Plastic is the most easy to segregate. So I think even if we start to make even these small changes, you will see the big impact happening on the waste management.
Yes. We really hope that individuals attempt these steps and help in contributing into reaching their new heights. And what kind of plastic can't be recycled and should be completely banned?
All types of plastic can be recycled. There is this thing that this kind of a plastic can't be recycled. All types and all kinds plastic is recyclable. Now, from the PET water bottles, you can make the, they make the like a cotton. So you can make the cloth, dry fit. People are making shoes out of it. From other kinds, you make again the plastic. Thermocol can be again converted back into thermocol. So all kind of plastic can be, recycled and can have other uses. You can have, we make tiles out of it. we use it for the roads, we convert it into fuel. So just think that everything that you see, yeah, from your Krish's glasses, he's wearing specs, that can be converted into fuel. So everything is plastic, can be recycled. Yeah.
Since every action starts with a thought, I'm like converting plastic to a fuel. So, ma'am, what was your initial thoughts regarding this mission, and how did it get morphed into the present one?
Oh, there was no thought. We never thought that we will do this, the other. Given it's small, again, something, we started collection, and we never thought. Everybody says that, why did you start collection? I think when we started and when we, built a first machine in 2010, it was a disaster because we were letting the gas out, and then somebody came and said you're harming. So we scrapped, and it took us again 2.5 years to do the more research and build a second machine. I think when you start working on a project, you want to tell people that how plastic is good, our habits are bad, what can be done. And that's what we started doing 2013. And then somebody said it's okay to segregate plastic, but what's the use of it if somebody who comes to pick up my waste, mixes it together? What's the use of it? And that's how we started the collection, because we realized just telling people that be aware, segregate, but then no collection, it's no use, because people need to see that impact, that my plastic, when I segregate, gets collected in a segregated way. That's how we started the collection. Never realized that it will turn into this huge activity. I started on myself. So for 6 months it was me going around door to door collecting waste plastic. And I think from there it just snowballed. People realized that they don't have to do much, they just need to segregate, keep it in the house, we come on your doorstep and collect that. Not only that, we gave donated, I would say, 50,000 kilos of plastic in a shredded form to the local Pune Municipal Corporation to make more than 23 kilometers of road. Now, when people see that their waste is actually getting used in a better way to help the society, they want to join in more. At the same time, what we did, we realized, all of our big cities are surrounded by the small villages where they do have the gas, but a lot of time they will still burn the plastic because it's got a good calorific value for the cooking or burning something, and it creates huge pollution. So we've started is we give this fuel at a more cheaper rate, discounted rate, to the women in the village. Only condition is they are not allowed to burn plastic, they need to segregate the plastic. And then I think so no thought was given. I think something comes up and we try to find a solution to it. So.
Yes, ma'am. So, a study has recently revealed that microplastics are now present in human body.
Yeah.
So, how much concerned should we be?
Very, very concerned should we all be. There was recently they found microplastic in the brain, and nobody knows how the chemicals are going to react. There was one study that we eat microplastic every day. See, it's simple. When you throw something out on the road, it's going to be, with the rain, with the sunshine, is going to disintegrate into smaller pieces. With the water, they're going to go into groundwater, or if not, from the rivers, they're going to end up in our oceans. Fish, they're going to have those microplastic because planktons eat that. It's eaten by small fish, it's eaten by bigger fish, and people eat the fish. When it goes in our soil, that's where our vegetables come in. So all of us have to think about what we are doing if we don't think about the waste management. See, as the population is growing, so is the amount of waste. And if we don't look at this today, it's going to harm, because some of the chemicals in plastic are carcinogenic. Now governments have banning those in plastic, but whatever there it was even in 30 years ago is still lying there in our landfills, and it's affecting everything. So it's affecting the groundwater, it's affecting the salt, it's affecting our nature, it's affecting everywhere. So we really need to think about it and be worried about it.
Ma'am, as you told that you ask village women to segregate the plastic. So, ma'am, what do you think? What kind of plastic that could be used to make a polyfuel? And as you say, it's harmful for human also. So, what kind of plastic you strongly advise to avoid by us?
Yeah, I think we should. There is no such thing as you can avoid. See, so we collect everything from biscuit wrappers, chips, crisp wrappers, uh, even the bottles, caps, any kind of shampoo sachets, shampoo bottle, anything and everything that is plastic, including ball pens and everything we collect. So we will collect everything and it can be converted into polyfuel. Now we need to, my idea of a good waste management is plastic waste management when people don't need to come to their house and collect. So we reduce the use of it. And there is no, there is not one kind of a plastic that can be avoided. But if you are going and buying bottles, just make sure there are BPA free, that is bisphenol A. It's a chemical. They are a bit more expensive, but if you can use it or replace it by the still bottles, that's even better. So I would say there is not one type of plastic is bad and another is good. They're all good, they're all bad.
A short message. Audiences who have questions in their mind, please put them in the chat box. And ma'am, moving forward. So ma'am, Rudra Blue Planet, apart from being a revolutionary idea, how do you see this as a business opportunity, and also for individuals who wish to participate in this field?
Oh, it's brilliant business opportunity because the machines are, the good ROI. And secondly, plastic is everywhere. So the raw material is everywhere. You don't need to think that I need to have something like this only in the big cities. Even this can start in a smaller towns, smaller cities, where this can be converted. You can establish and convert this into fuel. Now, for the end buyers, they're everywhere. Even in a small town, people have businesses where they use diesel. See, this fuel can be used for the DG sets, generators, furnace, incinerator, burners, boiler, trawlers, boats, and various other things. So this can be replaced, or you can add in and start using this. So it as a business opportunity is tremendous. You can make sure that you're generating the employment with from starting from collection of plastic, and you need operators, you need somebody who can do the marketing. So I think as an entrepreneur as well, this is a good opportunity. And think, the waste is going to be there. So if you look at plastic waste as a raw material, huge opportunity. And I would like young people to come into waste management, because this is the most exciting. A lot of innovations are happening, and it is a lot of startups are coming in, because so much can be done. But a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to work in a waste sector. But think, we actually can create something which helps people's everyday life, which can impact their everyday life, which can impact their health, which can impact their pollution reducing. So it's more exciting. And please do come, please look at it. I think there is a question. Do you want to read the question so much more easy, Krish or Kucha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, as you said that more startups are coming in, So what are those agencies which can support students for receiving funding on a plastic waste decomposition unit?
Uh, See, the governments, firstly, there are a lot of incubation centers, a lot of universities are doing. Central government has, various schemes where your startup can get recognized as a startup. So you get a lot of tax benefits. Various schemes in the government as well that can be, they help fund such kind of a startup. And there are a lot of angel investor, VCs. Right, you really need to go and just check out, just Google it, and you will see loads of people are willing to invest in an idea, willing to invest in such thing, because waste is a problem of all the world. It's not the problem of India, it's not the problem of our nukkad, it's a problem of the world. So you go anywhere, it's going to be successful.
We have an audience question.
Yeah.
This question is from Saddesh Zarak. Do you see plastic getting used extensively in fashion industry?
Yes, why not? Right now, if you look, there was a dry fit. The Indian cricket team was wearing shoes. Big companies are using plastic to make their shoes, and there are some startups, in India also doing the same thing. Yeah, please come and see what can be done, because from a PET you can actually make the strands out of it. From that you can make a different type of clothes. Lot of innovation can happen. So yeah, fashion industry is also one part which is looking into this as a possible raw material. Yes.
Ma'am, as you said that the human being has a neglected idea towards the plastic, so how much aware should be people made about your mission and the hazard of plastic?
It's not my mission, it is our mission as citizens, as a country, because we all need to be aware about the waste. A lot of time, somebody comes to pick up your waste, what do you say? Kachre wala aaya hai. Kachre wala, we are the kachre walas, because we create the garbage. The people who come are the safai walas. So if we just change that mentality and that switch in our heads, that we are responsible for our own waste, we have to think about, and we have to be be different about our waste. I think things will fall in place. But yes, I think we all have to think, we all have to take a responsibility, and we all have to say, yeah, it's my part as well.
Earlier you mentioned that we should be concerned about the microplastic. So ma'am, one way is definitely to reduce the consumption, and what could be the other way?
Make sure that littering is again a problem. Littering and non-collection. So India produces something like 25,000 metric tons of plastic waste. Out of that, only 15,000 metric tons gets collected. 10,000 metric tons is lying in our, it's everywhere. So we need to make sure that 10,000, we reduce that number. Secondly, we have to again make sure that it doesn't go into our waterways, because once they are in waterways and once they are microplastics, we can't do. Microplastics means what? It's smaller piece than 0.05 millimeter. That's microplastic, which we can't see from the naked eye. Now they have found plastic in 11 miles down the depth of the sea, where even the sunshine doesn't go. So it's already gone there. It's already in Antarctica. So, whatever we do, we have to make sure that we don't put any kind of a waste which is going to affect the environment into the nature. And, everybody says, ek se kya hoga? Why should I the one who should do it? But why can't we say, why can't I do it? Why can't I be the one where the change starts? If you just do that, I think, we will see all of us start to say that it's my responsibility, I'll do it. I think, we will make sure that whatever going into the nature is reduced, and we don't create more microplastic. That's it.
There is a question from audience. What is the
Yeah.
per liter cost of polyfuel compared with diesel?
So right now, we sell it around 44 to 46 rupees a liter. So as you can see, it's almost half the price of, or even 40% cheaper than diesel. So it's much more cost effective as well.
Yes, ma'am. That was really not expected to hear the cost of this will be so cost efficient. So, ma'am, with the amount of plastic that is being used, do you think that the only way to reduce is to limit the production?
We can limit. See, it's a business. How can you limit the production? Then it becomes a inspector ranch. We all live in a democracy. Most of the country, you cannot say to somebody if there is a demand. We're all we all are the students of business. It's a free economy. You can't say that we will only produce certain amount. Then you are going to have lot of different things that come with it. Because if there is you can't get something, people want to pay more. So it creates a different kind of a society which we don't want. But if there is a less demand, there is going to be less production. Isn't that simple? So we just have to make sure that we don't want it, rather than saying it to them, oh, don't produce. Rather, it's easier to say, I don't want it. So, we go out for the shopping, make sure that instead of buying, 250 gram, 500 gram, buy in a bulk if you can. I remember when my mother, they used to have the whole society where they used to go and buy the rice, or the gehu in 100 kilo. And then they used to distribute among them, whatever they require. So if you're buying 100 kilos, it means just one bag of plastic, instead of everybody buying 1 kilo, 2 kilo, 10 kilos, and you're creating more number of plastic. So simple things like that, if we can do it, much better. When you go and get the uh, uh, takeaway, why not take your own dabbas? It's more hip, it's more in thing. Make sure that instead of people saying, hey, he's bringing his dabba, make it sure that people say, wow, this guy or this girl is so conscious, they can bring their own dabba. Even if we do that, we are reducing 4 plastic items. Simple. It's more easier to do the other way around than saying ban it or reduce it.
Ma'am, there is one more question from audience. Since you mentioned earlier that plastic is recyclable on a large scale, how can we students help in promoting recycling of plastic in a country like India?
We can in a country like India. Take an example of your school. Why not start collecting plastic, at home? One day next month, bring all that plastic, put it in the box and send it to me. I'll make sure that we recycle and what we do about it. So when you see that effect, and just think, you will think, how much can we collect? But even if you collect 10 kilos, from all of you, is still better, because 1 kilogram of plastic, if you recycle, saves 6 kilogram of carbon dioxide emission. So 10 kilos is a 60 kilos of carbon dioxide emission. Even if we save, for me, even if you save 100 grams or even one packet, that is much more important than, we'll just go from here and do nothing. Yeah, take it as a project. Do it every month. A lot of festivals are coming. We are going to see a lot of plastic coming in different ways. So do that as a project, and I'll be happy to take all your plastic waste, convert it into either the roads or convert it into fuel, and show the impact of your waste can have on a human's life as well as the life of the environment.
Yes, definitely. I think you have answered the audience question. There is one more from the audience. Right? Can you please elaborate more on the economics behind per liter of a polyfuel? risk,
Okay. See,
production cost, profit per liter.
so see, the profitability changes as per the capacity of the machine, because the main cost in this is a cost of plastic as well as the overheads. So for the smaller machine, you require same amount as much as for the medium size machine. So our ROI starts from 500 kilos upwards, and the profit margins range from around 30% to 45 to 50% as well, on the everything. So you take a cost of overhead, maintenance, cost of catalyst, uh, cost of production, everything. So it is a profitable business, and we can still keep the cost low. We there is it's still cheaper than the diesel, so we can still keep the cost low, but we can still make the money as well. This is a business. See, if you don't make the money, it doesn't become a business, it becomes a hobby. So as a Rudra Blue Planet, we are committed to helping the environment, but we are committed as well to make sure that we make money for our shareholders.
Ma'am, as you say, it's a business. So doing the government paperwork is also a tough work, and segregation of plastic is also tough. So what kind of issues, basically what you must have faced a few setbacks. How were you able to overcome them?
Segregation is not a problem. If it, what we do is we don't wait for the plastic waste to get mixed and then segregate. If it gets mixed in a wet waste, another kind of waste, then segregation becomes difficult. But if it is segregated at source where it is created, like in your house, if it gets segregated, I collect segregated waste, much more easier, less cost. The cost of collection is there, but less cost of segregation, less cost of cleaning it. So that's how, you need to think about what can be done. But if you ask me to go and collect it from a garbage dump, yes, is going to cost huge amount of money. It's going to affect everything, and nobody wants to work in a place which stinks, which is non-hygienical, which is not safe. You don't want that. So you want your team to work in a better way as well. So I think that helps. And as you say, paperwork, hey, it's just paperwork, much more easy. Now everything is online. So I don't think paperwork is too much. It's government has made it much more smoother. And for any business, for the licenses, everything, you need to do a paperwork. It's part of the job. Taking admission, you need to do paperwork, isn't it? So yeah, it's easy if you want to do it. Not difficult at all.
Yes, ma'am. As people from urban areas are somewhat more literate, and they can willingly contribute for this recycling process. So how do we make sure that even the rural India is part of this process?
Hey,
So
I simply disagree. It's living in the city and being conscious are two different things. Being educated and being conscious about the garbage, two different things. Having money and being conscious, two different things. So I don't think that being living in the city gives us a right, saying that, hey, I think we are the worst. We are the worst because we think it's a government job, it's a local corporation job to collect. It's not my job because I'm paying my taxes. That's the major mentality we have. That we have the servants, we have the housekeeping to segregate. Why should I do? That's how we see the mentality of people living in the big towns. So I don't think we are all human beings. We have good things about us and we have bad things about us. Let's not differentiate between rural and city, living in a high society to living in a slums. I think plastic is a problem of middle class and upper middle class. We buy more things from we buy things like soft drinks. We buy lot of other things which come in plastic wrapping. So plastic is a problem of all of us. So we have to think like that. So let's not I totally disagree about this. And it's much more easier to, and at the same time it's more difficult to convert people. And I've been doing that almost 9.5 years. So I hope things get better though.
And ma'am, what is the one last thought you would like to leave with us, with the audience?
I think only one thing is, we all have to see that change starts from us. I believe that. If you look at my status also, it says that the change starts from us. We need to, just say that, what can I do? So as a students as well, a lot of people think, yeah, we're studying. Why should we care about this? Then you will say, oh, why should we care about? I'm working now. So rather than saying that, I want to be part of this bigger thing, I want to make sure that I contribute towards the environment. I want to make sure that I produce less pollution. Walk, simple things. If we can make, the few changes in our life, we will see bigger impact. And just make sure you get one person, even in a month, to change with you. I think this will, convert it into a movement.
Yes, ma'am, that was really great to hear from you. I personally learned a lot from the session, especially the conversion of plastic into fuel. It was a really fantastic and informative session. We deeply appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I'd like to thank Dr. Medha Tadpatrikar on behalf of our entire Saturday 10 a.m. team and student community for taking their precious time to interact with our students. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I hope to see, a lot of plastic coming from you to us. And so thank you very much. Join into and be the proud plastic warriors.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, I too learned about the possible and the process and the positive side of it. It was really amazing to hear that out from you. We would love to extend our gratitude to our director, Dr. Akshay Malhotra, our faculty member, Dr. Samita Bonde and Harsh Kotwal sir, for their constant support and guidance. Finally, we would really like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all the attendees of today's session. Thank you for joining and helping to make this a successful event. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.